Good afternoon, and welcome to Hidden History with Frank Strickland. And now, for a story of audacious courage born in the deepest injustice. Imagine, if you will, South Carolina, 1839. A boy enters the world, not free, but bound. His very life, his labor, his future, all owned by another. He knew the backbreaking work, the constant threat, the suffocating weight of bondage. His enslaver, a man named Henry McKee. But this boy, even then, carried a spark, a fire that no chains could ever truly extinguish. As a young man, he was put to work on the Charleston docks, then aboard a Confederate transport, the CSS Planter. This wasn't just a job, it was an education. He learned every tide, every sandbar, every secret signal, and every intricate working of that ship. He watched, he listened, and he absorbed. He saw the very weapons meant to keep his people enslaved and stacked in the hold. Then came May 1862. The war raged. Charleston Harbor was a beehive of Confederate activity. On a dark night, with the Confederate officers ashore, he took his chance. Not alone, mind you, with 16 other souls, his wife, his children, and other enslaved men and women. Huddled below the deck, he seized command of the planter. He wore the captain's hat, imitated the captain's walk. He knew the signals, the very code words to pass the Confederate forts. He steered that ship, loaded with Confederate artillery and documents, right out of the harbor, a silent, thrilling dash for freedom. He hoisted a white bed sheet. The Union blockade at first thought it was an enemy ship, but then they saw the signal, the white flag, and the faces etched with hope and fear. He delivered the planter, its valuable intelligence, and those precious lives to the waiting Union fleet. His act electrified the North. President Lincoln himself heard the story. This single act of bravery helped turn the tide, convincing the president to allow black men to fight for their own freedom, and fight he did. He was appointed a pilot for the Union Navy, serving under Admiral DuPont. He even became the first black man to be promoted to captain in the U.S. Navy, commanding the very ship he liberated, the USS Planter, through 17 battles. He even piloted the USS Keokuk during the bombardment of Fort Sumter. But this story doesn't end with the war. After the cannons fell silent, he didn't just rest on his laurels. He returned to South Carolina, a free man, a hero. He bought the very house where his former enslaver, Henry McKee, had lived. Imagine that, a formerly enslaved man owning the very symbol of his former bondage. He plunged into politics, a true statesman of the Reconstruction era. He served in the South Carolina House of Representatives, then State Senate. He fought to establish statewide public schools, to abolish the parish system, to make sure public places welcomed everyone, regardless of skin color. Then, in 1874, he made history again. Elected to the United States Congress, he served multiple terms, battling tirelessly against efforts to strip Black Americans of their hard-won voting rights. He advocated for land ownership for former slaves, for education, and for justice. He never stopped fighting. In 1864, he led a boycott in Philadelphia that desegregated the city's streetcars. In 1895, he stood before the South Carolina Constitutional Convention, a lone voice pleading for the voting rights of his people, even as the tides of Jim Crow rose around him. He lived to be 75 years old, a beacon of courage, a testament to what a determined spirit can achieve, from the shackles of slavery to the halls of Congress. And the name of this extraordinary American? Robert Smalls. And with that, you now know a little more about American history. Good day.